Maybe you can share this between the Hindi speakers. One can be. Suprabhat. Good morning. Then today I would like to speak about the practice of chanting, and we will then do some practical practice of chanting. And through this session, we will get some better understanding of the meaning, the purpose of the practice, and also how to get some practical understanding of how to do it well, how to benefit from it, and how to enjoy it. So, at the beginning, can anyone tell me why are we chanting? Yes. It's also a question for our online virtual audience. So the question is, why are we chanting? Anyone has an idea? हम पाठ करते हैं क्यों है हम क्यों पाठ करते हैं
I will make an attempt.
Yes.
Surenji, you could turn the speaker on Yashika so we can hear what you're saying. It's not connected. There is a speaker in the computer. Just that's on. Surenji is saying something.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I cannot hear, no?
Can you ask him to speak louder?
Please speak loudly.
Okay. Is that better?
Yes.
All right. So I've asked myself this question many times, and I don't always get a very good satisfactory answer, but by and large, my orientation is that these chantings do have teachings also. So it's a very good way of reviewing the teachings of Buddha, Bhagavan Buddha. But sometimes I do wonder whether it also requires one to be a little credulous in terms of the form in which the forces of nature work. Devi Devtas and other things, which is okay, but not fully comfortable with. So I think that's roughly what it is. Primarily, I get a review of the teachings from these chantings. That's the basic purpose for me.
He's saying primarily he gets the review of the teaching when he chants.
Review of the teaching.
Yes. There is also a comment in the chat box.
Also?
A comment in the chat box.
Can you please read it?
Yes, it's Poonam. She's sharing, I chant to remind myself every day about the practice I take every day.
Okay. So we had one answer is that it helped to internalize the teachings, learn the teaching of the Buddha. And another one is to remind ourselves every day our practice. And it's true. These are actually some of the benefits. Is there another? Please. Saurabh. हम क्यों बात करते हैं?
हम एक दूसरे को समझने के लिए बात करते हैं.
Part.
Chanting part.
So we do it in order to teach each other? Is it the meaning? Okay. Fine. So these two reflections of getting to learn the teachings, the thing that was taught by the Buddha himself, and reminding it to ourselves, bringing it into memory, are mentioned actually also in the suttas. I will read a small passage, which is coming in the suttas in many different places. So it's one of the very common phrases that describes the quality of learning, what we just heard about. So, what is a learned noble disciple? He has learned much, remembered what he has learned, accumulated what he has learned, those teachings that are good in the beginning, middle, and the end. He has heard them often, retained them, recited them verbally, examined them with the mind, and penetrated them well by view. So we see that the attitude towards learning is involving many different practices. As we might know from our own experience, whether it's in Dhamma or other subjects that we have studied, just listening to something usually is not enough to fully grasp it, to fully memorize it, to really be able to apply it also in our life. Usually it needs more engaged practice. And chanting as a practice that involves also senses, it involves also an active use of our muscles, our mouth, our reading, also listening, and also doing it together sometimes in a group is a way that enrich very much our study, and it increases memory in a significant way, and has also many other benefits. Now, what else can we say? What is the difference really between reading the suttas or the discourses or listening to them and reciting them? How do you feel it in your experience? Does anyone find any memory come to mind whether he felt some kind of a benefit coming from this particular practice of reciting, whether oneself alone or with a group? Yes, please. Yashika.
So other than what SP sir said, I also like to chant to remind myself of what is it that I need to do in practice. Other than that, there are like two subjective experiences I've had with chanting. One was that once some of the Sangha had come to my house for some meal offering, and they were doing this meal offering chanting. There were about 4 of them, and my maid happened to be there, who did not know anything about the Buddha, doesn't know anything about Buddhism. But what I noticed was that as the chanting was going on, she became visibly teary. She was about to cry. So I feel, and I have felt that myself, that when it's happening with a lot of faith, it invokes a lot of faith in people's heart. And secondly, I think there was this one time when I was really afraid of something. It was surgery, basically, and there was no control that I had. And I found myself going to the chanting of the Itipiso, and I did the chanting again and again and again and again, basically moving my mind from the unwholesome mind state of fear towards a wholesome mind state of some kind, when there was absolutely no other way for me to sit under the fear.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Please, our online audience, please, if you have any experience you would like to share or other idea, other thing you observed about this practice? Okay. Then yes, I find that the point Yashika ji mentioned is excellent. It's exactly the next thing that I would have liked to mention, that actually the practice of chanting is also very balancing. So the Buddha actually encouraged the balanced practice when he spoke about the 5 faculties, the spiritual faculties. So we have from one side the faculty of panya, wisdom, the ability to understand, to internalize the teachings, to contemplate them, to make some logical understanding out of them, and eventually to understand them also in experience, is one kind of branch, one faculty of development, which has to be balanced with the faculty of faith. So as we saw, the practice of chanting is very good for the faculty of panya. It helps to accumulate knowledge. It helps to internalize it, to memorize it, and to be able also to express it in a clear way. So later when one has to speak about the Dhamma, he has some kind of the chanting already. He's used to speak it out. So he can speak about the Dhamma and he has something to refer to how is the Dhamma actually expressed in words. This is one branch, but the other branch is the faculty of faith. Because oftentimes if we just listen to something or just read something, it still remains somehow farther away. We don't really trust it fully. But when we say something out loud, we kind of take it more on ourselves. And we can easily give it more faith. As well as when somebody else does the chanting, like Yashika mentioned this experience of the blessing of the chantings, like those 4 monks. So one is kind of aware that these people are already practicing for some years and they gave up certain things and they are dedicated to it. And when he hears them chanting, it gives a certain strong experience more than just, reading a text often. So the practice should be balanced. It's like a bird that has to have 2 wings. If one just has a dry knowledge, this kind of analytical understanding, it's usually not enough to actually transform oneself, because transformation is a tough battle. One has all kind of habits, all ways of thinking what can work. For example, one who is very greedy may think that truly the way to become happy is to get what I want. Or if one is very angry, one thinks that the way to be happy is to win in a battle or to argue, to be the last one to say the last word. And actually the Buddha's teaching is quite difficult. It's quite subtle. Basically says there is no victory. One who is, victory creates hatred and so on. So it's kind of difficult to understand. Is it true that by giving up, I can actually get a better benefit? It requires certain trust, certain ability to accept it. And then just understanding it intellectually at actual life is usually not enough. Then the old pull take once with all the habits. Okay, I saw that, fighting strong will give me what I want. One doesn't really trust the new attitude that one tried to cultivate. The same with greed. One used to believe that something will give me this happiness, and it's difficult to give it up and believe that freedom from attachments, freedom from addictions creates better health, better mental health, and better happiness and sense of freedom. It's difficult to trust it. Actually, our senses deceive us in many ways. Our mind deceives us in many ways. And so doing this chanting out loud increases faith. Also doing it in a group when we know that other people accepted the same understanding and express it, celebrate this understanding, it helps us also to let go of these old habits of holding on to what seems to work. So both this aspect of panya and faith are balanced in this practice. Another balance is a balance between internalizing practice and putting it out, expressing it out. So yeah, this balance is important. Like if a tree, for example, it grows and just develop one branch, then it doesn't grow very tall or stable. It grows tilted to the side, as we see sometimes here in some of the trees in Saṅghārāma. But then we have to cut it in such a way that it will grow in a balanced way, and then it can grow tall because it's not falling to one side. So somehow this old perception of what is a serious practice, what is a real practice, tend to be like, okay, we have to sit on the edge of a cliff in a cave alone, silently, and contemplate the impermanence of our feelings or something like that. While actually it tends to be that human beings have a strong social needs. It's a social animal in many ways. And it's important to use this actually pull not in just suppressing it, but channel it into a positive way. For example, channel it into a Dharma practice. When people chant together, for example, in a Sangha or in a big group, it creates a lot of positive energy and motivation and faith. And so it can balance this kind of fear of being alone or being afraid or feeling meaningless. I actually don't help anyone. But when one sees the benefit in kind of what it does to society, when we see how it helps many people on all levels, whether simple people from the most simple practitioner to the toughest Dhutanga monk like Lumpo Man, who used to chant every day the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. We see that it's a practice that unites all kind of practitioners. Also, generally music, I have a bit of experience with it, so it's something that one of its qualities, it creates harmony between people, even people from different countries, not able to speak the same language. With the sound they have kind of create some kind of a language. And here we can create a connection between Dhamma and this kind of sound. It creates a lot of harmony, a sense of being united. So again, it balances this kind of internalizing practice, getting the teaching inside, remembering them, recollecting them, and also creating something outside, benefiting, expressing the Dhamma, teaching the Dhamma to others. When we express the Dhamma wholeheartedly, it also inspires others. It's also the way we do it. If we do it mindfully, we do it wholeheartedly, we do it with care, we do it beautifully, it creates a certain sense of respect. It's similar to making a shrine in our place or outside. We can ask, why do we make shrines? Intellectually, it doesn't add any knowledge to ourselves, but it immediately creates an atmosphere, it creates respect. It shows how much one is ready to put an effort and what is in the center of this kind of situation. Similarly, we want to do practice of chanting with care. We don't just do it intellectually. Ajahn Chah used to say about listening to Dhamma. One shouldn't listen just with one's ears, but also with one's heart. And it's true also about chanting. We don't just chant with our voice, we chant with our heart. When we put our heart to the chanting, when we think actually about the meaning of the words and the beauty of the qualities which are described, the beauty of this practice, it comes out in the way we chant. It creates a strong force. It inspires the mind, gives a lot of joy. And later on, the mind is very energized and can overcome many obstacles in the practice. I would like to read also another excerpt from a sutta. They just show again how much practice is a broad thing, even to the highest levels. It's not that just meditation on a single object is a path to liberation. So it's from the Anguttara Nikaya, Book of Fives. Opportunities for freedom. Because there are these 5 opportunities for freedom. If a mendicant stay diligent, keen and resolute at these times, their mind is freed, their defilements are ended, and they arrive at the supreme sanctuary from the yoke. What 5? Firstly, the teacher or a respected spiritual companion teaches Dhamma to a mendicant. In whatever way the teacher or a respected spiritual companion teaches Dhamma to that mendicant, they always feel inspired by the meaning and the teaching in the Dhamma. Feeling inspired, joy springs up. Being joyful, rapture springs up. When the mind is full of rapture, the body becomes tranquil. When the body is tranquil, one feels bliss. And when blissful, the mind becomes immersed in samadhi. This is the first opportunity for freedom. So, just to summarize, one is when listening to the Buddha or to one teacher, experienced teacher. Then further, it may be that neither the teacher nor a respected spiritual companion teaches Dhamma to a mendicant, but the mendicant teaches Dhamma in detail to others as they learn and memorize it, and so on. So even while teaching, one can learn. It's not that just by being passive, listening to Dhamma or meditating, one can get liberated and one may kind of speak. Some people think that if you speak, you cannot enter a jhana, you cannot attain anything. No, you can, because it can bring a lot of energy, a lot of joy, a sense of generosity, and it can bring liberation. Third one. Furthermore, the mendicant doesn't teach the Dhamma, but the mendicant rehearses the teaching in detail as they learn and memorize it, in whatever way the mendicant rehearsed, and so on. So one rehearse the teaching, recite them, like the recitation of the chanting. Again, repeat it to himself, memorize it. And it can also be a way that the teaching sinks deeply and also bring joy and inspiration, which links to liberation. Number 4, the mendicant thinks about and considers the teaching in their heart, examining it with the mind as they learn and memorize it. So also by thinking, it's not that thinking is just bad. Not that we are just to cut off thinking. Actually, certain thinking can cut through our obstacles and bring a lot of strength, energy, and cut the obstacles. So examining, using the intellect, and until one experiences the meaning, can bring liberation. And number 5, a mendicant takes meditation subject as a basis of immersion, is properly grasped, focused on, borne in mind, and penetrated with wisdom. So the 5th one is our classic silent meditation practice. So just to see that there are 5 opportunities for freedom. One of them is meditation. Another one is, for example, chanting, reciting the teaching, whether one is alone or even in a group or even when teaching. Now, as I mentioned a bit, it's also about how we do it. So just few practical tips. So maybe Yashika can put, please, the text on the screen. Done. Okay. So one of the things that create harmony when chanting together is to tune the mind both for the meaning, the text, the Dhamma, but also giving some sense to the beauty, the correct pitch, because it's similar to making a shrine or making a Buddha Rupa. If one does it with attention, one does it accurately, one does it with a care, it creates some emotion and some inspiration. Now, our chanting musically is very simple. It's not extravagant. We simply have 3 different tones. So to understand how to know which tone we should chant, we look at the arrows, these little triangles around the chanting. So we have this text for the Pali Hindi. We have it in front of us. For the Pali English, it's page number 2. Now, we have 2 types of triangles. One is above the word, and it's simply a triangle with the wide basis and sharp top. We can see it, for example, above the word arahang in the Pali, arahang. We have above the H, above the arahang, triangle with a wide basis and a sharp top. This means it's a high tone because it's above. Then the second tone is underneath the word, and the top is actually broad while the bottom is sharp edge. For example, under the word Bhagawa, the third word, Bhagawa, in the Pali, underneath the B, there is a triangle with a wide top and sharp bottom. These are the 2 tone signs. This is a low tone. It's under the word, and the bottom is sharp. The third tone doesn't have any sign. For example, the first 2 words, yoso, doesn't have any triangle, and it is simply a middle tone. Is it clear so far what is the sign for a high tone, what is the sign for a low tone, and what is the no sign for a middle tone? Does anyone understand this? Also in the online audience, is it clear the way to read the signs? Anyone has doubts? Okay. Okay. So just to explain what... Okay, please, I will repeat it. So we have 3 signs, 3 tones. So first tone will be the high one, as we see above the word arahang. In this text, arahang, above it there is a triangle. The top of this triangle is sharp, edge, while the bottom of it is wide, with 2 edges. This is a high tone. Second tone, we can see under the word Bhagawa, Yoso Bhagawa. The third word, there is a triangle under the word Bhagawa. And this triangle, the upper part of it is wide, while the bottom part is sharp, it's edged. So this is sign number 2. It's a low tone. It's under the Bhagawa. There's a sharp bottom. The third tone has no sign at all. For example, the 2 first words, yoso. No signs, and it is considered to be a middle tone, not high, not low. Anyone has doubts or misunderstanding regarding any of these 3 tones? Please let me know. Can I get a positive response for the online audience to know that they are just not...
Yes, Banteji, I think we got it.
We
got it. Thank you.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Okay, great. So now to understand what does it mean high tone and what is low tone. So generally we heard many types of voices. Some voices like voice of a child or like a sound of a bird. For some reason we consider it high. Voice of a child, sound of a bird, considered to be high. One reason is when we produce such a high tone, we feel it high in our throat. The muscles are high. Another type of sound, like sound of an old man, or like, for example, classic one, the Tibetan type of chanting, like this considered to be low. Low. Why? We feel it in the throat very low. And so just to understand, if the sound is closer to a child or to a bird, it's considered to be high. While if it's more closer to an old man, it's considered to be low. And in the middle is just our usual, more normal tone between the high and the low. So now I will perform the first line. Please follow how the signs are fitting with the way I chant the tone. So in the beginning it's middle, then Bhagava got a little bit lower. Then Arahang comes up, Samma is high, Sambuddho, and it finished, the Dho is in the middle tone. So Yoso Bhagava Arahang Sama Sambuddho. So Yoso is middle, Bhagava, Bha is low, Gawa is middle, Arahang, this is more like a child voice, Hang Sama Sambuddho, finish on the middle. Let us make a courageous effort and do it together. First line. So please, we all chant, just join me. So, Yoso Bhagava Arahang Sama Sambuddho. Okay, good. This is about the tones. If we follow them, we will be united. It's easy to create a sense of harmony and beauty when everyone chants the same melody, the same kind of tone. If we chant everyone different tones, then it creates a sense of almost different chanting, like everyone chant a bit different sutta. So it's important to pay attention to it and listen. Now, second practical advice is we have to listen to the leader of the chanting. Because we are a big group. In a big group, it's easy to get dispersed, get separated. Especially if one doesn't really listen, one is too much focused on reading the text. Then somebody may chant very quickly, somebody may chant very slowly. It creates a kind of a mess, a museum of sounds, kind of all kind of strange things happen. So we have always to listen to the leader to see that we are at the same point. Then it creates a sense of united power. So let's do it again, and please follow. Now I am the leader, so follow my pace, the rhythm that I give. Don't be too slow, don't be too fast. And we can do now this whole first paragraph. So while you are chanting, pay attention to the chant, pay attention to the meaning, but also listen and make sure you are together with me. Yoso Bhagava Arahang Sama Sambuddho Swakato Yenna Bhagavata Dhammo Supatipano yassa bhagavato sāvaka saṅghō Dhammayang bhagavantang saramang sasanghang Ime hi sakare hi atarahang aropite hi abhipujayama. Right, it was completely united and finished together. So always keep it in mind, listen to the leader, follow his pace. While you are reading, one ear should be with the leader. Now, third thing is what we mentioned before about chanting with the heart, not only with the voice. So we try to make it beautifully and we bring it out. The Dhamma should shine out. It's not to be concealed. So we think about the meaning, we internalize it in, and we also express it out so we can celebrate these wonderful teachings together. For example, when we say, Yoso Bhagawa, Bhagawa, the blessed one, we can think, bring the sense of, it's an extraordinary being, Arahang, one who is completely pure. Samma Sambuddho, fully awakened and knowledgeable, with the highest knowledge. It has a certain direction also, the line. Usually when it goes to the stress word, it gets more emphasized, more emotion. For example, in the first line, it's the Samma Sambuddho. This is a stressed word. It's similar to when we speak. When we speak, we don't just speak monotonously. We usually give emphasis at least on one or two important words. This creates interest and it creates kind of engagement in what we are doing. So in the first line, for example, Samma Sambuddho is a stressed word. I'll give example. So there is a big difference between somebody chanting Yoso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho. For example, then Yoso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho. It immediately become easier to listen, become easier to engage, and to get the emotion behind this text. It has a lot of respect and dedication. So it's another thing that we practice to bring to the chanting, to bring the emotion, to bring the direction of the line. Let's do it together now. The first paragraph again. Again, you can follow the leader. Now I will give a bit the direction so you can join. Allow yourself to give more emotion when it's a stressed word. Yoso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho Swakato Yena Bhagavata Dhammo Supatipanno Yassa Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅghō Dhammayang Bhagavantang Sadhamang Sasanghang Ime hi sakare hi atarahang aropite hi abhipujayama. Now let's do the Hindi one, so we can also have even a stronger sense of the meaning. So, again. Vejo he arahan Bhagavan samyak sambuddhe Bhagavan ke dvara achitara samjaya gaya dhamma Dhamma ke मार्ग को अच्छी तरह प्रतिपादित करने वाले भगवान के श्रावक संग उन भगवान बुद्ध धम्म और संघ की हम यथोचित सत्कार से पूजा करते हैं. Okay, so we will take it as a kind of reminder to chant chanting is an offering of our voice. It's a gift that we give, and it's also an opportunity to internalize inwards those teachings. When we are engaged, it affects our memory much more effectively. And later on, this memory comes when we need it. So as practical tips, it's good to practice with the arrows, follow the tones. This is one. Then second one, listen always to the leader to create united chanting. And third thing, follow the line, the emotion that the leader brings. Some words are more emphasized. They sometimes align a certain direction to the music. So we have to join it. And then the expression is much more effective as well. When we chant, we do it beautifully and carefully and with generosity. We don't just mumble the chanting, then it becomes kind of as if everyone is in his own smartphone or so. But if we chant wholeheartedly, it becomes a united kind of field of resonance, very powerful, and it becomes a skill in practice. Then we remember that chanting is something that unites both the heart and the mind. It binds them together. And when we put things out, it helps us to overcome certain kind of reservations that we have towards difficult teachings or things that we don't fully emotionally accepted. It's easy to accept things intellectually, but emotionally it's a much longer path. So I leave you with these reflections. And just for finishing, we'll do the meta chanting. We'll have it on the last page in this. And for you, its page should be 31 or 32, the reflection on universal well-being. We'll do the Pali one. So we see this meaning of the chant is very important. We wish well for ourselves and to all living beings. Now, if we just do it in a very dry, mechanic way, it is a bit of a waste, a bit of a shame. Like chanting like Aham Sukito Mini Dukkho. It's kind of useless. But if we really give our hearts, think about the emotion, bring the wish out, it becomes very inspiring. Aham Sukito Homi Nidukkho Homi Ave Sabe Sata Sukita Hontu. Wishing to all living beings well-being. So let's chant these teachings in Pali now, and we think about the emotion, wishing ourselves freedom from all these negative states, from fear, from worry, from aversion, wishing ourselves complete happiness and peace, and then towards all living beings, wherever they are. I will give the first line. Andamayang metta paranang haromasi ahang sukito homi niduko homi avero homi abhyapajo homi anigo homi sukhi atanang pariharami Sabe sata sukita hontu, sabe sata avera hontu, sabe sata vyapaja hontu, sabe sata aniga hontu, sabe sata sukhiyatanang pariharantu sabe sata sabadukha pamuchantu sabe sata ladda sampatito mavigachantu Sabe sata kamma saka kamma dayada kamma yoni kamma bandhu kamma patisarana yan kamang karisanti kalyanang va papakang va tasadayada bhavisanti. Beautiful. So sadhu, it was very united, very much together, and I appreciate your effort and generosity with your voice, making this voice offering. Now we will do the closing homage, and then we'll have a little break. At 11 o'clock, we will have the meal ceremony with the taking of the precepts and the Sangha Dana offering ceremony. So now, closing homage. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅghō Saṅghang Namami. 3 बार नमन करेंगे. द्वितीयम्पि तृतीयम्पि.
Now let us bow to the Sangha 3 times in unison. Bow. 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 Okay, so the next transmission for the online audience will be at 11 o'clock. Thank you.
Is it 11 or 2 o'clock? Yes.
Is it 11 or 2 o'clock?
It's 2 o'clock.
11 o'clock meal offering time, okay?
Online session will start at 2 o'clock, 2 to 5.
नहीं Geeta, it's